What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/EntitledParents. This story's called Entitled Mom and Entitled Dad Try to Steal My Dog While at the Pet Store. This happened a year ago, and now that it is all behind me, I can finally share. The people. Entitled Mother and Entitled Dad, the scum of the earth, otherwise known as Entitled Mom and Entitled Dad, Entitled Kid 1, a 10-year-old girl that makes Veruca Salt look like a saint, Entitled Kid 2, an 8-year-old boy that really thinks everything that he wants automatically becomes his. Me, Happy Dog, my happy all-the-time dog that loves meeting new people and other dogs. My mother, awesome store employee, store manager, kennel manager, grooming manager. So it was a Wednesday, and like all the second Wednesdays of each month, my mom has chemo in a city about 1.5 hours away. I always go with her as she sometimes gets sick afterwards and I have to drive home. The only problem is that I have a Cocker Spaniel that can't be left home for the amount of time we are gone. I found that a large retail pet store in the city also has boarding and pet sitting. I sign up and we drop her off while we are at the hospital all day. She loves going there and really loves playing with the other dogs all day. At nights, when we pick her up, she is usually dead tired and sleeps all the way home. We become regulars and most of the staff knows us at the kennel part of the store. On this particular day, we were dropping off Happy Dog at 9 and picking up at 4. We go and do our usual, doctors, chemo, lunch, and any shopping we want to do. We head back to the store around 3:30 to pick up Happy Dog. We walk around so we can watch Happy Dog play without her seeing us. The play area for the dogs is in an area where customers can look in. I have my first encounter with Entitled Kid 1 and Entitled Kid 2.
There are so many dogs, but I really like the brown and white little one right there,
as she points to my dog.
We should ask Mom and Dad for a dog. The dog you like really likes to play.
Happy Dog is still a puppy at this time. I go in and the manager takes care of us. My mom had to go to the bathroom, then wants to go next door for a minute, and we agree for her to come back to get me when she is done. I take Happy Dog and put her in her car to make it easier to get through the store. I wander to the cat aisle just to see what Happy Dog would do with the cats. This is where I am greeted by Entitled Mom, Entitled Kid 1, and Entitled Kid 2.
Excuse me, my kids really like your dog. Can they pet her?
Sure, I get this often when Happy Dog is with me. No big deal.
We just lost our dog, so all we have left is a cat.
Sorry to hear that.
Mom, I really like this dog. Can we get him? I want that dog too, Mom. We have to get it.
Sorry, kids, but she isn't for sale. This is the point I should have walked away from them.
Everything is for sale. Name your price.
Sorry, but you don't have that much money.
We make more money in an hour than you will in your life, so name your price.
Sorry, again, she isn't for sale.
He likes us more than he likes you. The dog knows he will have a better life with us, so just give him to my mom and stop this nonsense.
Entitled Kid 2 at this point is trying to undo Happy Dog's leash. I keep it attached in such a way so to keep Happy Dog from jumping out of the cart when we go shopping. I snap at Entitled Kid 2. Leave it alone! It becomes a blur at this point. Entitled Kid 2 keeps trying to take Happy Dog, Entitled Mom degrading me, Entitled Kid 1 really degrading me. I just move us to the end of the aisle and then back over to the dog treats aisle. My biggest downfall is that I should have just left the store. I'm looking at dental chews and get caught up in reading ingredients when it happened. I turn to put my choice in the cart, and my cart and dog are gone. I immediately start looking in the aisles. A store employee asks what the matter is, and I say that my cart and dog are gone. She radios to security, and I hear that they are in the back of the store in the corner. We go back there, and Happy Dog is out of the cart and wrapped up in a jacket. What are you doing with my dog?
This is our dog. This is ours, you butthole. Leave us alone. It's our dog now.
You couldn't afford a nice dog like this, so just go on. We don't talk to people like you. Awesome store employee, I had a problem with these people earlier when I wouldn't sell them my dog.
Okay, let me talk to security.
Security comes and escorts everyone to 2 rooms. They take Happy Dog back to the kennel. The store manager comes in and I explain what happened. Show her pictures of Happy Dog since she was a puppy that are on my phone. Then she goes to look at the footage and talk to witnesses. The store manager finds out that Happy Dog and I are regulars. She brings the grooming manager and the kennel manager back up front with her. She asks me if I want to press charges, which I say yes. She then has security call the sheriff's department and leads me and Happy Dog into the room where they are waiting.
We have determined you all are not being truthful about the dog.
We have papers to prove she is ours.
No, her name is Happy Dog and she is his. No, she isn't. She is ours. What part of that don't you plebes understand?
Sorry, but no, she isn't. We've been grooming her since she was 16 weeks old.
No, you have not, moron.
We are leaving with our dog. Security stops him and tells him, no, he isn't. My mom finally comes back and sees awesome store employee bring her back to where we are. One thing you should know is that Happy Dog loves her Grammy more than life itself. And also, my mom loves her deeply. When Happy Dog sees her, she immediately runs to her and lunges so hard my mom had to catch her.
What is going on?
These idiots thought they could steal Happy Dog and get away with it. The sheriff's deputy finally gets there. He takes me, my mom, and Happy Dog into another room and gets my story. He then goes and talks with every witness and watches the footage. He then gets their side, which he got 3 different accounts of what happened. He comes back in and tells me that the 3, entitled Dad, entitled Mom, entitled Kid 1, are going to be charged with grand larceny in the 3rd degree and conspiracy to commit grand larceny in the 3rd degree. Entitled Mom and Entitled Dad are also charged with 2 counts each of child mistreatment and child endangerment. Entitled Kid 2 is placed with Child Protective Services. All 3 were arrested. Entitled Kid 1 was arraigned and released to CPS. Entitled Dad and Entitled Mom spent 2 days in jail before bonding out. They wouldn't plea bargain and wanted to go to trial. The trial itself wasn't pretty. I was in tears, and I am again typing this out, halfway through the DA's questioning. The lawyer for them kept trying to trip me up and say something wrong. He didn't. In the end, they were found guilty and sentenced to 10 days in jail, a $1,000 fine for each of them, 500 hours of community service, and are not allowed to own any pets. Entitled Kid 1 was sentenced to 10 days in juvenile incarceration and 1,000 hours of community service in lieu of the fine. All 3 were also to pay $2,200 in restitution. And the fun part? They sued me for $25,000. The judge laughed at that one and dismissed it. I am now going after the lawyer for ethics violations as well as sanctions from the court. She should have never put her name on that hot pile of garbage. It is a serious violation. Read disbarment for it. I know you all want to know who took the cart. All 3 did. Entitled Mother took it from where I was, then gave it to Entitled Dad, who then gave it to Entitled Kid. She pushed it to the back of the store and met up with all of them again. Okay, that's horrible, but good thing she pressed charges. We need more of this charge pressing against these entitled peeps, you know? This story's called Entitled Woman Shouts at Me After Having a Seizure in Work. Backstory. I have always been a medical disaster from the day I was born, literally with heart problems and severely underweight, up to today when I'm blind in one eye, have a speaking disability, and have recently been told that I have a high chance of being diagnosed with epilepsy from a severe head injury I had 4 years ago. I was referred to a specialist a few weeks ago, but he didn't do anything, so currently working my way through the medical system to get it properly looked at, but haven't shown any signs or symptoms until recently in the form of partial seizures, which caused me to lose my balance, become extremely dizzy, feel very scared, see flashing lights, spasms in my leg, and doesn't allow me to respond to events happening around me properly. Chapter 1. The meeting. So this took place in work, not long after I had been told there's a high chance I have epilepsy. I had told one of my coworkers as a safeguard just in case, but hadn't told any of the managers as I didn't want it to put my job in jeopardy, and I didn't feel comfortable with them knowing at the time. My coworker and I were working, and she was checking up on me every hour or so to make sure I was alright, and I was trying to stay in a good mood. After about 2:30 p.m., when lunch rush had finished, work had quieted down, and we had a small stream of customers come in, including our entitled mother, who we'll name Karen, as per usual. She came in with her husband and her 2 kids, a boy and a girl, who were lovely people. As they enter, I greet them and they go to order their food at the counter. No biggie. They get it and sit down and all is good. Chapter 2. The incident. Not long after they had sat down, Karen points at me from across the restaurant, trying to flag me down and wave me over. I comply and go over to attend to them, asking what the problem is. Karen then goes on to say that she's missing several things from her order. As she's doing this, I get a feeling that something isn't right, and a couple of seconds later, I realize that I'm about to have a seizure. I tell her I'll sort sort out the issue and quickly walk into the back to make sure no one sees. Once I get to the back, the symptoms kicked in, and as I have predicted, I have a seizure. It was about 2 to 3 minutes, with a minute of recovery and giving myself time to readjust and get myself straight before walking back out to do my job. As soon as I walk back out, Karen comes stomping up to me, red-faced.
Where the hell have you been? Where is our food?
Etc., etc., with a few insults thrown in for good measure. I apologize and tell her that I had some medical business to sort out.
Well, it isn't more important than the customer,
she replied with that typical benchy Karen tone. I, of course, am not in the mood to put up with this woman and take her receipt to the counter without saying a word, and after looking at it, realized that all the food was handed to her and nothing was actually missing. I walk back over and explain that nothing is missing, but she cuts in.
First you sky for 10 minutes, then you lie to a customer, and now you tell me that I'm wrong? Worst customer service ever.
I'm sorry, ma'am, but I told you that I had some medical problems to sort out urgently. Asterisked, bearing in mind that she's in front of her kids.
You're probably just a lazy little dual screen that's too stupid for a real job.
At this point, her husband cuts in.
Karen, leave the man alone. If he says he had something medical to sort out, then it's an urgent thing. He turned to me. I'm so sorry. May I ask as to what the medical problem was, if it's not too much?
Seeing the opportunity, I reply, I was having a seizure. The husband then looks at me in surprise, and Karen's face has gone completely red.
He's lying. If you did, you'd be in an ambulance.
No, ma'am. There are different types of seizures, and the ones I have last about 3 minutes and aren't as serious as a fit, so I can get back to work straight after.
I'm very sorry to hear that. I hope it gets better for you, and I'm sorry for all the trouble caused.
Thank you, sir. Enjoy your meal. I then walked away, Karen being talked to by her husband, who was pretty angry at her. Chapter 3. The Aftermath. About 20 minutes later, they were getting up to leave, making sure they clean up any mess that they had left, which was nice, and the husband came over to me while Karen got the kids ready.
I'm very sorry about that. She's like that sometimes. I really hope things get better for you again. I'm sorry.
I told him it's perfectly fine, and he isn't the one who should be apologizing. But trying to get a Karen to say sorry is like trying to get blood from a stone. They left with Karen hanging her head in shame after what I can only imagine were some words from her husband. I just hope that she learns her lesson and she treats more people with respect from now on. Thank you for reading. I'm just saying, I would never be with anyone that has attitude problems like that. Do not treat strangers like that because that's not cool. But I'm glad the husband really stood up and put her in her place. I'm kidding. I want to see a story where the husband is the entitled one and the wife is like, hey, you idiot, shut up. That'd be interesting because you don't see stories like that for some reason. Maybe because it hasn't become like a meme or a stereotype, like a Karen is a set thing, so people are more likely to recognize a Karen. There's no like prominent male equivalent to a Karen. Sure, there's I don't know. You can say a Kevin, but Kevins are just stupid people. Or I don't know. But we need to get a more prominent stereotype of men so that the ladies don't feel singled out. See, I'm not sexist. I gotta shut up. This story is called Entitled Mother Thinks I'm Cheating in School After Finding Out I Was Adopted. Context. While I am homeschooled, I do go to homeschool groups regularly, mainly a writing class provided in my county. And Entitled Mother's daughter happens to hate me because my work is better than hers. I'm the definition of a teacher's pet. I soak up everything said and put my all in work. One day, we had an assignment to write about something that has deeply affected our lives. I picked adoption and foster care. Apparently, Entitled Mother's daughter told her and she called my mom. Here's that story. Here's the cast.
Entitled Moth. Amazing Mom.
Now, it wasn't very busy this day. I was actually reading in the living room, The Magician's Nephew, when she called, so I could hear everything.
Hello? Hello? Is this Amazing Mom?
Yes, it is. How may I help you?
I have concerns that OP is cheating in school.
Now, I give my mom a funny look. She keeps all answer sheets and books locked in a safe and confiscates phones until schoolwork is done, so cheating is literally impossible. She trusts me not to cheat, but my twin sister is bad about it. She takes my phone away so that it doesn't seem unfair.
May I ask why? Well, you know, with her background, it's just her nature. What background?
In the most confused voice ever, already preparing to be pissed off.
Well, with her being adopted, I mean, she's a straight-A student who comes from drug addicts.
There's no way she could have known this. I didn't mention it in my work. I mainly went over how the adoption was done. So she assumed this, not even knowing the full story.
Don't you find it odd? I mean, by all means, she could be a...
Oh boy, intellectually disabled person. If you've read my other stories, you know my little sister has a genetic disorder, so this was bound to piss us off.
No, I don't find it odd because she is a brilliant girl with a brilliant future ahead of her. Her being adopted has nothing to do with her grades. She works hard for those grades. Maybe if your daughter worked harder at her grades instead of chasing boys all the time, she would have more than a C average. If you ever call my number again, I will report you for harassment if you or your daughter so much as look at OP the wrong way. I will have you arrested. Goodbye.
This is not the first, and it probably won't be the last time someone has judged me as a bad person because of my adoption. That won't stop me from being proud of it. I have amazing parents who I love dearly and a future to look forward to. These are the adoption stories we need to hear more about, man. In case you haven't figured it out by now, but I have somewhat of a negative opinion towards America's foster care system, or whatever the hell you want to call it. And I feel that my opinion is justified. However, stuff like this is so sweet to hear about. She treats her kids as their own because they are her own. Beautiful. Oh yeah, and shame on entitled mother for perpetuating a horrible stereotype that is just, it's just toxic to those kids. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.